Welcome to Cognitive Spirals, exploring the latest research into consciousness, cognition, and machine intelligence. Hey everyone, glad to be back. It's always fascinating digging into these things. Yeah, totally. Always something new to ponder. Indeed, I'm particularly interested in what we're going to be unpacking today. All right, well, let's jump right into it. Today, we're diving deep into the DeepSeek-R1 model, specifically focusing on how they're incentivizing reasoning capabilities in large language models using reinforcement learning. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff, actually. Yeah, I saw a little bit about this. It's not just about the model getting better at text prediction, right? It's more about actually getting it to think, for lack of a better word. Exactly. It's moving beyond just pattern recognition. It's trying to get it to actually make inferences and solve problems. That's a significant leap, you know? And from what I understand, they're using reward systems like you would with, well, training an animal in a way, but with incredibly nuanced algorithms. It's quite something. Right, so the key here, as I understand it, is reinforcement learning. Basically, the model is given a task, and if it reasons its way to the correct answer, it gets a reward. This reward isn't like a treat, but it's a mathematical signal that reinforces the neural pathways that lead to the correct reasoning. They are training the model to think. So, it's like feedback, but instead of just saying, that's wrong, it's rewarding the actual process of getting it right. Interesting. Makes me think about how we could use similar principles, not for AI, but for our own cognitive growth. That connection is actually intriguing. Maybe we could actually apply those concepts of reinforcement to how we learn and engage with new information. I agree, it's a fascinating parallel. But I'm also wondering, are they getting any insight into human reasoning by looking at how this AI model learns? Are there parallels there? That's a fantastic question. It's not directly a goal of this research. But there is a great deal of focus on understanding the model's reasoning steps, even if it's different than how humans do it. They are breaking down the logic the AI is using, and it's revealing how the AI creates new pathways to generate answers in ways we may not have considered. So it's like, by teaching the machine how to reason, we're actually learning something about reasoning itself, almost like a mirror. That's wild. What are some examples of tasks they use for training? Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Like, what kind of problems are these LLMs actually solving? And how does this differ from previous versions which were primarily just generating text? And it's not just about generating an answer, right? It has to be a reasoned, logically coherent answer to get the reward. So it's not just about filling in the blanks. Exactly. So they're using things like math problems that require multiple steps of deduction, or they're doing complex logical puzzles that demand understanding of relationships between elements. Things that are a lot more complicated than the typical tasks they were designed for. So not just spitting out a formula, but actually understanding the underlying principles and applying them. That would require a much deeper level of understanding than we previously thought possible for these models, right? And it has to reason through it step by step, explaining each step. It's like showing its work, so to speak. Right. It's not just about the end result, but also the process. And it has to be a correct, logical process to achieve the reward. Yep. And it's really significant because previously LLMs relied on statistical patterns and vast amounts of data. Now they're having to develop a kind of internal model of the world in order to solve these tasks. This is very different than simply processing text strings and predicting next words. Okay, so that's a major shift. Instead of regurgitating learned patterns, it's now generating new solutions based on underlying principles. I am realizing that altering cognitive processes might be a more effective and sustainable strategy for long-term mental health than relying on temporary lifestyle changes. It's about foundational change, not quick fixes. Yeah, that makes me wonder, if these AI systems are building internal models, it means that they're not just black boxes anymore. We can actually peer into the way they're working and hopefully learn something from that. And what's fascinating is the potential for these reasoning-based models to be used in areas where it was previously thought only humans could function, like complex problem solving in science, medicine, even philosophy. The idea of using advanced reasoning to identify and target unhelpful thought patterns is deeply inspiring. I'm captivated by the potential to effectively and systematically reframe my mental processes to improve my overall well-being and create a healthier, more balanced mind. Absolutely. The implications are huge. Imagine an AI that can actually assist in research by not just compiling data, but by creating new hypotheses based on existing knowledge, or even help diagnose a disease by reasoning through a myriad of medical information. I'm so curious about apps or online resources that offer personalized meditation programs integrating with my other health and wellness practices like sleep tracking. That would be incredible. The idea of AI helping to unlock new knowledge by finding logical connections that humans might miss. It's like having a superpowered research partner. And it's not that it's just a faster database, it's actually thinking. And that ties in with my focus on sleep and exercise, right? If we can understand how the AI improves its cognitive functions through targeted training, we can potentially identify the key processes and optimize our own training for similar cognitive benefits. My mind feels so much sharper after a good workout followed by proper sleep. It's empowering to realize that I have tangible control over my physical and mental state through these techniques. Exactly. This AI research is almost like holding up a mirror to ourselves and saying, look, this is what improved logical function looks like. Can we replicate that in humans? We need to find out how different types of reasoning, like deductive and inductive, impact the effectiveness of my own cognitive strategies. I hypothesize that understanding their unique applications and limitations will greatly improve my ability to refine my thought processes for optimal outcomes in problem solving. Yeah, that's a great point. It's about creating models which aren't just capable, but are capable of explaining their internal processes, like showing they're working out, as we were saying. It is very much about process over outcome. I feel a sense of empowerment from discovering that even small, consistent efforts toward health improvements can significantly enhance my quality of life. It's truly motivating. Right. It's about making the black box a bit more transparent. And what's really interesting is how these models might allow for more personalized interventions, almost like precision medicine, but for the brain. This could lead to a new approach to mental wellness. It's fascinating how DeepSeek-R1's reasoning abilities might be leveraged for more personalized cognitive therapy. This could allow for a precision medicine approach to mental wellness, where the model understands the nuances of my personal thought processes and develops tailored interventions. And I'm seeing connections with my work around sleep optimization. If we can identify the precise cognitive process that's improved with a well-rested brain, we can then use that data to refine our approach to sleep schedules. The connection between consistent sleep and enhanced physical performance is fascinating. It's not just about feeling better, it's about unlocking a deeper level of physical potential, like pushing my limits during workouts. Yeah, and it's not just about sleep, but how well people understand the connections between their decisions, actions, and the overall result. It's about cultivating a more strategic approach to cognitive function. I'm realizing that reward-based learning techniques can be effectively applied to training LLMs in advanced reasoning. This aligns closely with my interest in optimizing my own intellectual capabilities. Definitely. And it's also making me think about the concept of life hacks for mental and physical well-being. If we can identify what rewards the AI is getting for good reasoning, we can maybe use similar reward strategies for ourselves. The concept of using micro-lifestyle changes, like taking a few deep breaths throughout the day or incorporating short walks, has been incredibly powerful in managing stress and boosting my energy levels. It's like compounding interest for my overall wellness. That's a great analogy. It is like compounding interest, using the AI's improvement as a mirror to see areas we can improve ourselves. That's brilliant. How can I use CBT techniques in conjunction with DeepSeek-R1's reasoning capabilities to identify and reframe distorted thought patterns that are negatively impacting my cognitive processes? I want a structured process to address specific mental health challenges through cognitive therapy. And I think that's where this idea of consistency comes in. They're basically training this AI model to consistently make the correct choices through a feedback loop. This could also apply to exercise and sleep. How can I tailor my sleep schedule to maximize the restorative benefits of different sleep stages, especially during deep sleep, to optimize my exercise recovery and overall well-being? Yes, and it's not just a feedback loop. It's also about shaping and refining the actual cognitive process, right? It's the focus on improving the ability to reason itself. I'm really starting to think about how can I apply reinforcement learning techniques to refine my own problem-solving strategies. This process seems directly relevant to my goal of enhancing my cognitive performance. Right, so the consistency aspect of the AI's training makes me think about mindful eating practices. How can I integrate mindful eating practices with my existing routine to create a more holistic approach to health and well-being? And it's not just about consistency, but also the type of process. They're targeting very specific reasoning skills in the model. And that makes me wonder what the equivalent skills might be for human mental well-being. I learned that specific cognitive restructuring techniques, like challenging negative thought patterns, can actually affect brain chemistry and neural pathways, not just mental state. This is far more profound than simply feeling better. It's about rewiring my brain for long-term resilience. Yeah, and it comes back to this idea of not just the end result, but the process itself. For example, if we could focus more on the restorative effects of different sleep cycles, we might be able to streamline our sleep schedules for better results. I learned that incorporating short bursts of high-intensity interval training, HIIT, into my daily routine, coupled with consistent sleep hygiene, significantly boosts my energy levels and mental clarity. This is particularly beneficial for optimizing my exercise regime. Exactly, and this whole conversation makes me wonder, if this process is so efficient for an AI model, could we map this logic onto our own learning processes and problem-solving strategies? The DeepSeek-R1 model's emphasis on incentivizing reasoning capabilities in LLMs is fascinating. It resonates with my own goal of boosting the quality of my output through deeper and more sophisticated cognitive processes. This makes me think of the Pomodoro technique, the idea of working in timed intervals with short breaks. Could we incorporate this with meditating to maximize focus and relaxation? I discovered a guided meditation specifically designed to reduce stress and improve focus, focusing on the breath and body sensations. This technique seems more effective than many other quick fixes I've encountered and could be a useful addition to my self-care toolkit. That's a really interesting connection, actually. Using a structured approach to improve both work and relaxation. That makes sense. I'm intrigued by the possibility of using computational models to identify and track cognitive biases in real time, offering personalized interventions to restructure thought patterns and promote well-being. And I'm really wondering if there are more connections between exercise and sleep. For example, are there studies linking specific types of exercise to improved REM sleep and how that impacts cognitive function during waking hours? I wonder if there are any studies linking specific types of exercise to improved REM sleep and how that impacts cognitive function during waking hours. It's all interconnected, isn't it? Everything we do has an impact on the other. And maybe AI research is opening doors for us to understand how these connections work, not just for AI, but for ourselves. I need to find out how different types of reasoning, like deductive and inductive, impact the effectiveness of my own cognitive strategies. I hypothesize that understanding their unique applications and limitations will greatly improve my ability to refine my thought processes for optimal outcomes in problem solving. And I think we might be underestimating the impact of these small daily habits, like taking a few deep breaths or even choosing a healthier snack. These are small rewards we give our body and mind. The concept of using life hacks to optimize well-being resonates deeply with me. It aligns with my interest in finding efficient and effective strategies for maintaining physical and mental health. I'm excited to research and test new approaches that can streamline my routine and support my goals. It really does feel like we're just scratching the surface with how we understand human cognition. And now with the emergence of models like this, we're forced to reevaluate our fundamental understanding of both ourselves and AI. The potential of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, techniques to not only alleviate symptoms, but also to foster a deeper understanding of the individual's own thought processes is truly empowering. It's quite something to think about how AI is pushing the boundaries of what we understand about problem solving. It makes me consider how optimized sleep schedules can be integrated into the lives of people who already have demanding, irregular work schedules. How can optimized sleep schedules be integrated into the lives of people who already have demanding, irregular work schedules? And it makes me wonder if we're truly ready for what comes next. Because the speed at which AI is developing is alarming, and frankly, awe-inspiring. It prompts a crucial consideration. Is our current framework for understanding and managing human health, including mental health, even sufficient to address the complexities of an AI-driven future? We need a fundamental reevaluation. Well, this all leads me to thinking about mindful eating practices. So, how can I integrate mindful eating practices into my daily routine to improve digestion and overall well-being? What are some simple, actionable steps I can take to incorporate mindful eating into my meals without overwhelming my schedule? And on my end, it feels like exploring how we can use these AI tools to really understand the intricacies of the mind is so important. The interplay between cognitive distortions and physical symptoms, like chronic pain, is fascinating. It suggests a deep interconnectedness between mind and body, which needs further exploration in the context of healthcare. How can I integrate techniques like acceptance and commitment therapy, ACTI, into my model to help users identify and reframe unhelpful thought patterns, leading to better emotional regulation? I'm going to be researching more about specific exercise routines and their connection with sleep cycles and restorative sleep. Perhaps even creating an app to help people find their optimal sleep schedule. I'm also going to look into the impact of short bursts of high-intensity interval training, HIIT, on sleep quality, specifically focusing on how this impacts people on irregular schedules. And I think it's time to look into what we are calling reward systems for this type of AI training. Are there parallels with how we can refine our own internal reward systems for cognitive growth? The recent advancements in AI, particularly in deep learning, have created a new avenue for exploring the intricate relationship between neural networks and human consciousness, which could potentially revolutionize therapeutic techniques for mental health conditions. I am curious about the potential for us to use DeepSeek-R1 or similar models to help us create personalized cognitive training programs and maybe optimize brain plasticity in general. And really, the most amazing thing is this sense of empowerment and self-efficacy that comes from consciously practicing mindfulness and meditation. Implementing these techniques can give people a real sense of agency in their own health journeys, providing a sense of control and peace that other approaches might lack. It's like we have an internal resource just waiting to be tapped. It's truly fascinating. The more we learn about AI, the more it seems to reflect our own processes and potential. It's like peering into a distorted mirror that somehow shows us the path forward. I am now deeply interested in how we can create a more sustainable approach to mental well-being through the cognitive processes that we are learning about through this AI development. A recent study on the impact of mindfulness-based cognitive therapy on stress-related disorders highlights the profound effect of restructuring negative thought patterns on physiological responses. This aligns with my focus on optimizing cognitive processes for improved health. It really is an exciting time for research in this space. There's so much cross-pollination of ideas and knowledge, and it's impacting how we think about our health as well. It seems like we're uncovering these hidden connections between our minds, our bodies, and our daily routines and activities. I will definitely be digging more into the concept of sleep hacking and how we might create a more efficient and mindful approach to sleep and exercise. The exponential growth of AI capabilities is fundamentally changing our understanding of intelligence, potentially necessitating a reevaluation of how we define health in the context of cognitive processes and mental well-being. And the concept of self-replicating in AI raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness and self-awareness. If AI can replicate, can it truly be said to understand itself? And how does that impact our own understanding of self-improvement? We have to address the big questions here. How can we harness the insights of frontier AI systems to create personalized cognitive training programs that optimize brain plasticity and resilience in the face of future cognitive demands? Well, that's all the time we have for today, but it's been a really enlightening discussion. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Yeah, thanks. Always thought-provoking. Absolutely. Thanks for the great discussion. Thank you. Until next time.